Listen.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 16 of Hollywood Uncensored. Obviously, you're probably wondering what we're going to be talking about if this is not a big-time hint. I got to ask, does it make me a bandwagon fan because I have a Jordan jersey?
Not at all.
I think that's the one player you could have that jersey of, but still not be affiliated at all whatsoever with the Chicago Bulls. Because who would want to be affiliated with the Chicago Bulls for the last 20 years? But my boys, it is your boy Hollywood Holguin. I am joined once again by the homie Orange E. What is up, brother?
Yo, what's going on, man? How are you?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Other than the Hershey squirts, I'm chilling. Let's just jump right into this. 6 million people watched The Last Dance last night on ESPN. Obviously, this is literally the biggest sporting event that we've had in at least a month by now. Everybody was anticipating this documentary. We've heard all the rumors and stuff that it took a long time for Michael to really push for this documentary to come out. Some people are saying that it took LeBron coming back from 3-1 and defeating the Warriors for MJ to finally greenlight this documentary, which apparently, again, was filmed the 97-98 season, and then it took this long to 2020 to finally get it. Before we jump into this episode and really break down all the things that we liked and disliked, let me know what you kind of thought about it just in whole, without any spoilers. Kind of give your non-spoiler review of it when the first viewing of it.
Yeah, honestly, I thought it was just super badass. I like the fact it was old school footage, a lot of it, but it was in HD format, it just looked cool. So the cinematography, I guess. Plus it's Michael Jordan. Everyone knows Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? It's just automatically interesting. I thought it was 10 out of 10. I already I know it's only the first episode, but already on the first episode, it's already just a perfect documentary. I don't know.
No, yeah, I feel you on that one. I gave it. We talked about this on through text. You asked me what it was. You gave me your score of 10. I said it was a 6, and you said it was blasphemous that I gave it a 6. This is the only reason why I gave it a 6, though. I think when we get all of the entire series, which, by the way, according to the streets, apparently the whole documentary is already leaked online. So if you want to check that out, go for it. Apparently every single episode's out already. I think I'm just gonna wait for every Sunday because it kind of gives me something to look forward to instead of just binge watching it. I kind of like how it's now an event for every Sunday for everybody to get together, especially on NBA Twitter. But just for the first viewing, I gave it a 6 only because all this stuff they told us kind of already knew. You know what I mean? I know the whole North Carolina Michael Jordan. I know the Scottie Pippen upbringing. Now, were there some things I did not know? Yeah, they gave us some inside information of the general manager of the Chicago Bulls, Jerry Krause. Wild that dude went from being a scout for the White Sox, which is probably the most boringest job in all of sports, scouting college players in baseball, and then ends up becoming the general manager of the Chicago Bulls led by Michael Jordan. That is one of the biggest promotions I've ever heard. Going from baseball to basketball, which it kind of is funny because then you have the switch of Michael going from basketball to baseball. It's kind of funny how that also worked out. But from your first watching of it, what did you think of the general manager of the Chicago Bulls?
Honestly, it reminded me a lot of the whole Phil Jackson in New York situation. You know what I mean? A coach to being in such a high position. And, the whole Stephen A. Smith thing just came to my head when he's his first thing as general manager of New York Knicks. Sign Lamar Odom, who was on crack. It's reminded me of that, So I guess it was kind of Shakespearean in that sense. But I just those are my thoughts. I thought it was hilarious. Instant flashbacks.
Yeah. You can see why. Here's the thing. General managers do deserve some credit. Do they deserve all the credit, and should they be wanting credit? Absolutely not. That dude really dying to just get the credit was his first mistake, because you never see, in my opinion, the greatest general manager of all time is Jerry West. Never once has Jerry West ever said they need to thank me forgetting the Lakers, Shaq and Kobe, and then sending them Pau Gasol when I was working for Memphis. Like, if you're a general manager, usually, you're fine kind of sitting back and letting the players and the coaches kind of take all the shine. But again, it comes back to this dude. I mean, him being a scout for baseball and then ending up in this position, that's a whole total, like, it's just a total different vibe. You know what I mean? Like, one minute you're on the field and seeing some college player hit a baseball. And now you're in the Chicago, whatever, I don't know the United Center? I forget what the Bulls arena is called. But now you're there and you're watching literally one of, if not the greatest basketball player of all time. And then you get to get Charles Oakley, and then you trade for Scottie Pippen, and you get Luke Longley, Tony Kukoc, Dennis Rodman, Ron Harper. I go down all the list. Like, he did deserve credit for what he was able to put around Michael. I think one of the things in this like episode, they're kind of just shedding on him, and I completely understand why, because again, you don't want to take all of the credit, but I do think he deserves a little bit of credit for doing at least a decent enough job to at least put that team in the position. Now, I had no idea why they would want to rebuild after winning a championship. I did not understand that. I'm like, why would you want to? I think the owner, he was saying that they looked like they were already headed towards like the end of their careers. Scottie Pippen ended up playing another 5 seasons after this season that they're documenting. Rodman, the only reason he was out of the league is because the dude was a psychopath and just bipolar, as anyone can imagine. And then, of course, Michael went to the Wizards, and that didn't end up being any good. But like, I didn't see why you would want to cut the cord of a team that just won the title. You know what I mean? That was so confusing to me. I just wonder what you thought about that.
Yeah, I mean, it was just wild, honestly, the whole thing, like just rebuilding. Imagine if they did that with Kobe, you know what I mean? Like, just rebuilding after he won the chip in 2010, that 2010 series with the Celtics. Was it 2010?
Yeah, 2010 was the last one.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And Kobe was still like in his prime, yeah. But it's kind of like what it reminded me of that, because Kobe played like about 5 more years after that, you know what I mean? So that's kind of like what I would describe it as, just shocking, like a bad decision all across the board. And like the whole like Dennis Rodman thing, he kind of reminds me of like Andrew Bynum, like it's crazy, changing his hairstyle, being coked out, like
yeah,
sad.
I think that's an actually really good comparison for Andrew Bynum when you really think about it, especially when like the stardom was really getting to him and the Lakers were pretty much giving him the keys to the empire. You could just see the trajectory of Andrew Bynum going all the way down, which is why I really did wish like Phil Jackson was still the coach of the Lakers when they decided to give Andrew Bynum the keys, because at the time it was Mike Brown, and that never worked. I mean, I remember Bynum shooting 3-pointers and him getting yanked from the game. It's like the second quarter, they're down by 7. Bynum walks up. I mean, every center now shoots 3-pointers, which is funny, because if you think about it, now Bynum was kind of ahead of his time, because like now every center shoots threes. And when Bynum did it, he was like benched for like 30 minutes of the game. But back to Rodman, I don't understand how a team could just be like, oh, okay, we just won our 5th championship. Let's cut the cord. Let's go get some new players and all this. Like, wouldn't you want to defend the crown? Another example would be like the Warriors. Like they didn't even go into a rebuild after they choked the 3-1 series lead to LeBron. They went and got Kevin Durant. And then like it kind of exploded on them this last year. But I mean, if you think about it, I think the Warriors probably would have won if KD was healthy and Clay doesn't get that injury in that game. I've never heard a team win a title. Well, I take that back, because the Mavericks did that after their championship in 2011. They literally like pressed rebuild after winning the chip. But just they won 1 title, so it makes more sense for Dallas. They were coming off of 5, the Bulls, going for 6. Like, wouldn't you want to see how many you could win? I mean, it's not like you were paying all that much money to keep this team together. That was another aspect I did not understand. Like, Michael was getting paid money. But, like, Scottie Pippen was the 6th best paid player on the Chicago Bulls, and he was 2nd in points, 2nd in rebounds, 1st in assists, dude. 1st in assists. That is wild. I didn't even know that stat. And you know me, I know a lot about basketball. Now, I didn't get to watch, the Jordan era, because, I mean, this season, 97, 98, I believe I was either 3 or 4 years old. I didn't get into basketball until the 99-2000 season, which was Shaq and Kobe's first title. But it's just wild how dysfunctional the Bulls front office has always been. Like, I don't think they deserved Michael. I really don't, in hindsight. I don't know how you think about that.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I guess I can see what you're saying, just because they kind of, I don't want to say they ruined his legacy, but they kind of like tarnished it a little bit. Like they could have at least made another payoff run. You know what I mean? So, I can see what you're saying with that.
And think about this: the year after they win the sixth ring, spoiler alert for the end of the documentary, they win the title again. The year after that, which when they were like, they told Phil Jackson, you could go 82-0, and we still wouldn't re-sign you, which is like, wow, that is just. And I know. And here's the thing with Phil. Before I completely blow up Phil, because I think he's the greatest coach in all of sports. I know that the Patriots fans and the Belichick fans are going to come after me for that one, but I truly do think Phil Jackson is the greatest coach of all time, any sport, anytime. But Phil has a tendency of burning his bridges everywhere he actually ends up going. So at some points, I'm like, okay, if you watch a documentary, they make you seem like Phil is kind of the victim in this whole thing. But it's like, yeah, but I'm a hardcore Laker fan, as you guys all know. I've seen Phil have beef with Jerry West. I've seen Phil have beef with the late, great Dr. Jerry Buss and him wanting more money. And this is when he was already giving Jerry Buss's daughter the pipe. And he was still being triggered and still being the problem for the Lakers. Then, when he left the Lakers, he wrote a terrible book, literally burying every Laker that was on that team, slandering the late, great Kobe Bryant. And just, then he got the job back, which was a shocker, but that's because Mitch Kupchak was there. And that was probably the one time that, like, he didn't have any drama. He retires, and then we go into the whole Knicks situation. Lamar Odom, the Carmelo Anthony trade situation, trading for Derrick Rose, in hindsight, probably wasn't the smartest idea. Signing Joakim Noah, thinking of trading Porzingis. It's just a list of things for Phil Jackson. Greatest coach of all time. I totally believe that dude is 100% a headache. What do you think about that?
Yeah. It's just kind of funny. Like, I was like thinking about that documentary. Like, he says that, like, Kobe Bryant was like uncoachable or something like that, right? Do you remember that?
Yeah, it was in the book.
Yeah, and then he kind of reminded me of that one, like, during the documentary, he actually had like a little like light bulb that went off, reminding me of that whole Kendrick Lamar verse where he's like, Phil Jackson still ain't coaching me. And then Phil Jackson actually like tweets Kendrick Lamar like a few days after that, like shouting him out. Like, I forgot what exactly he says, but that small interaction was like kind of cool. Like, Phil Jackson, Kendrick Lamar,
yeah,
over Kobe Bryant. I'm not sure if you remember that, but that was a cool moment. But yeah, it's just like you said. He's just crazy. I don't want to say, well, he's crazy. Yeah, he's crazy. Let's be honest. But honestly, I think that he definitely deserved the money as a coach.
100%.
So, you know what I mean? So, were the Lakers wrong to not pay him? Yes. Were the Bulls wrong in not paying him? Obviously, also yes. But in retrospect,
but even when he got paid, he was still a headache, though.
Yeah, but he was getting the results to like prove it.
Not with the Knicks.
Oh, okay. We're talking about the Knicks right now.
Yeah.
Then yeah. Not with the Knicks, definitely not. But and yeah, I can see what you're saying.
I think with the Bulls, I think they're like that first super team that just had too many cooks in the kitchen. You know what I mean? You had arguably the greatest player of all time in Michael. You had Scotty, who was giving Madonna the pipe, and that's a real story where this is legit. Michael Jordan went up to Madonna and told her, "I could please you better than Scotty." And Madonna literally told him, "I don't think you can," because apparently the rumor is that Scotty's got the game, unless you ask Future. But we'll get into that right now. We'll get into that. Trust me. I want to talk about that because, girl, you cannot be counting his money when you screwed old homeboy so many times over. But anyways, I just think it's a lot of so many different people in there. Rodman also being in the locker room. That for me has to be wild for them. But I think just too many cooks in the kitchen for them. I think there's too many people on that team that wanted too much credit for what they didn't really do. And now that we're not what they did, but like it was like a cohesive effort. You know what I mean? With Michael as the lead. But then like each person, other than it doesn't seem really, and I know Michael does, but this whole thing, it kind of feels like Michael's chilling because you see him like dancing in the locker room and kind of stuff that I've never seen Michael really do. Like that's the one thing I will say about this documentary. The BTS stuff of Michael like dancing in the locker room and kind of making jokes and talking shit. That's the stuff that I really enjoyed about this doc. But like my whole thing is like he's kind of just chilling, wanting to win games. And you got Scotty beefing with the front office and the front office beefing with everybody and Phil beefing with the ownership and Rodman wanting to go to Las Vegas so he could do just another line and hang out with Carmen Electra. It's just a mixture of so many personalities. And I think when you win so many championships, that's bound to happen. I think we would have even seen that happen with the Warriors too. I think we're already nearing that moment. And my biggest thing when I was watching the documentary was like, can you imagine if this team existed during the social media era? Like how wild would it have been?
Yeah, you're definitely right, especially with I can just, you know how Dennis Rodman is right now on Instagram, just like with his commenting like his dot or his whatever, he's like just showing up everywhere on social media, Dennis Rodman.
Dude,
But I mean it's kind of funny to me because like the video does a great you know, like impersonation of making like Dennis Rodman look like this like antichrist, you know what I mean? And then like Michael Jordan seeing like he's, I don't want to say he's like clean, but like he's not the one like it's like, you know, doing the drugs. But
do you buy that?
fuck no, hell no. Nah.
Come on.
He was definitely on the pipe, dude.
Yeah, like he's knocking on the door. Number one, why'd you knock? And he's like, oh, I just went in there and I was looking around, but I didn't do anything. It's like, come on, Michael. Come on.
The whole thing, honestly, it kind of made. I actually don't agree with you. You said like it made him look like about him dancing, like you said that he was like carefree. He kind of seemed like he was like a dick to me, especially with the whole like autograph stuff. You know
Well,
what I
yeah,
mean?
but it humanized him. You know what I mean? Like this whole time, it's been like, oh, he's this god that's just like he only cares about playing basketball and winning. I feel like this was the first time I've ever seen him be any emotion a dick outside of the court. You know, he's always been that guy in the court, and we've seen that like so many damn times. I mean, you see that every day on Twitter with people like the LeBron and Jordan stands. It's every day on Twitter. But like my whole thing was like I've never seen him actually express emotions off of it. That was my whole thing.
Oh, I see. But yeah, I mean, he just seems like he's just like a fucking like a dick in general,
Yeah.
like outside, like on and off the court. Unlike Kobe, where Kobe looks like a dick on the court,
The
like Kobe, like
leader.
if you like see him like during interviews or like with his daughters, he seems like people are always saying like he just like loves joking around, how he's like super carefree, especially like after he retired, like it was the happiest he's ever been. Whereas Michael Jordan, like, dude was so obsessed with trying to keep his legacy of like being better than LeBron. Where Kobe just kind of like just like dropped everything. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna focus on me, focus on my business, on my daughters, on my relationship with my wife. You know, but I don't know. I feel like Jordan definitely went out sad. You know, post retirement.
Uh, do you think? Yeah, I know this is sidetracking. I want to get back to the documentary right now, but do you think his ownership of the Charlotte Bobcats and Hornets has diminished his legacy a bit?
Yeah, because he should have like an eye for talent. You know, he should know like what it takes to succeed. You know what
Well,
I
he
mean?
thought his kids were going to be good at basketball too. So I mean,
Hey, look at I felt
said with Charlotte, dude, how long have they been bad? I mean, they had Kemba. They refused to sign him to sign Terry Rozier. They've been bad just for so long. I mean, how many draft picks has Michael wasted? How many different general managers Michael has rehired, fired, hired, replaced, changed the front office? Literally everything that dude has done with the Hornets and before the Bobcats have just, they've been obsolete. They've been just absolutely irrelevant. They barely are a team. Like, that's a team that I would be totally okay with being sold and moved to like Seattle or Las Vegas or something like that, because there's no reason for them to be even in the area they're in, because nobody really cares about them. They really don't do anything to make you think they have even a future. Like, they would have to get like a really good player in this year's draft, and I doubt that even happens. Like you said, his eye for talent, you would think Michael Jordan, the GOAT, he would be able to get these guys that are actually legitimate. Or even what's even more shocking, we like to talk shit about like Kobe, or not us, but NBA Twitter likes to talk shit that like certain players didn't want to play with Kobe, or certain players didn't want to play with LeBron. Well, I mean, a lot of players apparently don't want to play for Michael Jordan-led teams, and you would think with the way that they, massage the Jordan ego, a lot of people would be looking forward to like take the mantle and like literally learn the ins and outs of the business and the game from a Michael Jordan. I just think it's wild how bad he's been with that organization. I do think it has a little bit diminished his entire legacy, not on the court. We're talking about inside and out. When I talk about his legacy, I'm talking about what he did on the court, what he did for the Jordan brand, and what he did outside of the court. Because we do the same thing for Kobe. Kobe went out there and won an Oscar. This dude took ownership of the Hornets and freaking threw them and freaking sent them straight down to the ground. That's the difference for me, at least. And then we bring up his kids. Both of them tried to play basketball. They both, had scholarships because obviously they're the sons of Michael Jordan. Obviously, you want to see if they're good or not, and they ended up being absolutely terrible. I remember the game that Eric Gordon dropped like 47 or 48 on both of their heads, and it was like and Michael was in attendance, and you could just see the absolute disgrace in Michael's face of seeing both of his sons just get absolutely torched by Eric Gordon. It doesn't really happen often, which is why it's so shocking when you saw like Gigi, rest in peace, and like Bronny and Zari Wade, how they're like next up, or they were next up. And then you see Michael's kids, and they were there, you see them in the documentary dribbling the basketball and being around all those superstars. You would think that they would actually have some level of actual NBA expertise. Like they didn't even make it to the league. That was kind of shocking to me. What about you?
Yeah, I feel like it just paints this bigger picture of Michael Jordan. He probably just wasn't around enough to like teach him the game. He was just too busy like gambling, or too busy focusing on his brands, or too busy just doing whatever else besides helping his children. You know what I mean? He just cares about his legacy more than his family, basically.
Man, bringing up the gambling, I thought it was funny that they bring up that he took a year vacation to play baseball.
I know, yeah. They put it. I guess he controlled some of it a little bit.
No, he controlled a lot of it. Apparently, the two people that had the biggest control of this documentary were Adam Silver and Michael.
Interesting. Why Adam Silver?
Apparently, whoever is the commissioner of the NBA had say on them. So, like David Stern, also rest in peace. Holy shit, man! I feel like shit every time I have to say like rest in peace, rest in peace. But we've lost so many people already. But anyways, whoever was the commissioner of the NBA had say on how the documentary was going to be published or used. So he couldn't really do anything with it unless he got the blessing from Michael. So they worked as a tandem because, it was the NBA filmed it. So it was like it worked hand in hand for the both of them. But yeah, so pretty much the documentary, I lost my point. My bad. What were we talking about?
I don't remember either.
Right. I literally lost my point. Adam Silver. All right. On. Damn.
Oh, about saying that he took a vacation.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Joseph, edit that part out. Just cut to this. Okay. Yeah, so they bring up the vacation. Do we want to get into that?
Yeah.
Okay. Look, this could either be a conspiracy theory. It could be real. Depends who you believe in, depends who you talk to. This is the story I've been told. If it's a different story that you've been told, you chime in and tell me your version of your story. Because I feel we've all heard or read different illustrations of this Jordan conspiracy theory or fact. But the theory is that Michael had a gambling problem, very much like Pete Rose, and the NBA found out about it. And how the NBA came to find out about it, and I hate to be disrespectful, but again, conspiracy theory. We don't know if it's true or not. This is just things that we have been told. But in this theory, according to some people, due to Jordan's very bad gambling decisions, it may have been the cause for something very bad happening to his father, which I don't want to get into that, but it's something that did happen. And according to, from what I was told, the NBA didn't want to have to banish, Michael Jordan. That would have been such a black eye for the NBA. Like Shaq was next up to be the next star of the league, but that wasn't going to happen for like another few years. And then they would have to like rely on Hakeem the Dream, who did win 2 titles in that span of time when Jordan was out of the league. But so pretty much David Stern went to Michael and told him, hey, I don't want to have to ban you. How about you just walk away from basketball for a year? Which led to Michael taking this quote unquote vacation and going to play baseball for the Chicago White Sox, who had the same owner as the Chicago Bulls. So a little bit under the table things going on. And that's how the thing ended up happening. I don't know if that's a true story, but it's a thing that everybody has heard about at some point of their lives when it comes to Michael, if you're into basketball. Is that the story you've heard, or have you heard a different illustration of it?
Honestly, I didn't even know about it until you told me a few years ago. So that's just the story that I know.
Yeah. We want to make sure very clear that we're not saying that's an actual factual story. That's a conspiracy theory. If you piece the moments of that, it kind of makes sense. I always thought it was wild that he went to play for the White Sox because, again, like I just said, same ownership. It just kind of felt like there was things happening behind the scenes. Plus the way he mentions it in the documentary too. When he kind of even does the quote of like vacation, he doesn't say I went to go play baseball. He literally says when I missed the season for vacation. It's kind of like that kind of confirms it, but it really doesn't. And obviously, if that's the true story, real damn shame. I mean, he could have been legitimately Pete Rosed by the NBA, and I think that would have been such a huge L in the face of the league, because I think the league needed Michael Jordan to really carry it through the 90s, especially after Bird retired and Magic retired. There was nobody else except Hakeem, and then Shaq again. He was getting there. But anyways, so yeah, that was the conspiracy theory of Michael, possibly just gambling a little bit too much. And it cost apparently somebody its life, and it cost him a season of basketball, because there's no way that Michael all of a sudden just retires. You know what I mean? Like, that never made sense to me either. Whenever I read about that as a kid, because I did a biography on Michael Jordan when I was in elementary school, even when I read that as a kid, that he just decided, oh, the competition is too easy, I'm just going to go play baseball. That made no sense to me, because I'm like, this guy cares about winning, and now he's just going to stop because he's bored? No, and he even proved it. He's proving it in this documentary when he's saying, I want to keep winning until we lose. And once we lose, then do the rebuild. So that even confirmed more of the conspiracy theory that I was just talking about, because it just didn't make sense for Michael just to be like, I'm done, have fun, I'm going to go hit the ball and go play spring training over there for the other team that he owns as well, but don't look into it. I always found that a little bit funny. I don't know what you think about all that, but it was always wild to me.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a lot of this documentary is just kind of like I don't want to say that it's like fake the way that they put it, but it's definitely sugar coated. It's definitely like you said, like built around kind of like trying to solidify his legacy, to try not to damage his legacy at all. But I mean, they just do like a damn good a damn good job at everything about this documentary. Like, it was just like amazing.
Like a movie almost.
Honestly, yeah, it really was.
Like a feature film.
Not like Irishman, where it took too long, I think. But
I'm not going to stand for your Irishman slander. Martin Scorsese is the greatest director of all time, and Robert De Niro killed that movie. Could have been maybe 2 hours shorter, maybe, but it was still a good ass time. Let's get into it. Is Scotty the greatest number 2 of all time?
No.
No. Who do you have the number 2? Who the greatest number 2 of all time? Who do you think it is? Is it Kobe?
Yeah. I mean, I would put Kobe
for that three-peat.
Yeah, that three-peat. What about you?
I said this too when Twitter was like, he's the greatest number 2. I'm like, he was nice, but I think Kobe do a lot more for his team. I mean, all I have to bring up is what he did in the NBA Finals in 2000 against Indiana with a sprained ankle because of Jalen Rose sticking his foot out on purpose, confirmed by Jalen, and then literally coming back and dropping 28 points per game, and then bailing the Lakers out. I want to say games 3 or 4 when Shaq fouled out, and he had to carry the team. I like Scotty, but you know what? This episode 2 of the documentary, they try to present him as some kind of victim a little bit, and I wasn't buying it. And here's why: I don't feel bad that he took the deal. I've never heard an NBA player, and maybe I'm wrong, and you guys could correct me, that signed the deal and then went back to restructure his contract. They do that in football a lot of the times, and that's why we see like holdouts in time. But like when the owner is telling you you really want to sign this 7-year, piss ant of a contract, and him being like, yeah, I want stability. I want to be able to take care of my family. Completely understandable. But then you can't at the the last year of your contract all of a sudden be like, I need more money, man. This is bullshit. They're disrespecting me. You're on your last year of your contract. You're going to get paid, obviously, next year. So I thought it was, I kind of agree with Jordan on this. You said it kind of a dickish way, but I kind of agree. I do think it was a little bit selfish for Scotty to get the surgery right before the season started and then kind of be like, maybe I'll come back. Maybe I won't. I kind of want to get traded. They already told you you're only going to be there for one more season. And this whole thing is going to be rearranged. So I did think like Scotty was kind of taking the low blow type of heel turn. But at the same time, I'm like, dude, you're the one that agreed to that contract. And in this documentary, you told us why you agreed to the contract. So don't tell me he would get obviously underpaid. I mean, come on. He was getting paid like what, $2 million per year? Like I'm not gonna. He picked stability, and that's totally okay. You can't all of a sudden say I'm worth more when you're the one that agreed to your contract. You should have gotten a better agent. That was my point of view of the whole thing.
Kind of reminds me of like Kyrie, where like gets traded to the Celtics, and then like they're like doing poorly, and then like he goes on like this. Once he gets to the Nets, he has like this injury for like the first few months because KD's not there, and like he's demanding that all these different players get traded, that they need more players, they need more help, and then out of nowhere he's like, okay, like they're in a playoff contention or playoff run, and he's like, you know what, we're going to forfeit the season. I'm just going to get like surgery, like fuck you guys. I'm going to wait for KD. Trade all these players and I'll be ready when I'm back. You know what I mean? So to me, it was like selfish. Very, I don't know. That's just what resonated with me was Kyrie.
You turned it to Kyrie slander.
Am I wrong?
No, you're right. But what do you think of like the whole Pippen thing? Do you think like he shouldn't have complained about his contract?
Oh yeah, I didn't even answer the question.
I was like, damn, dude, you just went in on Kyrie. I'm like, I think it's enough slander. But no, the Kyrie thing, by the way, 100% agree. Gets traded to Boston. He's like, I'm free from LeBron. Takes like literally 2 years for him to be like, I want out. Goes to the Nets. He's like, man, this coach sucks. First he says the coach is amazing. Gets there in Brooklyn with KD. And they're like, no, we want to play with our friends. And we don't like this white boy coach. Get him out of here. So I do agree with the Kyrie. But back to Scotty.
Yeah, it just seems like he's like he just seems like he's an idiot, not like a businessman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you're dealing with money, you should have like better the people on your team. Better accountants, better like financial advisors, whatever it may be. Especially like if you're dealing with like millions. I mean, and I get it that you want to get paid, you want to get money, and that's everybody's goal. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like you're the one that signed it. No one like forced your hand. You know what I mean? Like you're doing it on based on your own will, and for you to just be like, like fuck everybody. I'm just gonna like purposely miss a season. Just seems like just typical diva type behavior that I would expect from someone like him.
Yeah, and like all these years, they've kind of presented them to be the anti-diva. Like without this documentary, if you don't watch episode 2 and you just say this thing does never exist, you kind of think of Scotty as, oh man, what a humble guy to always take the back seat to Michael and be okay with it. And then you watch this documentary and you're like, oh, okay. I mean, this dude had his issues too, but like you said perfectly well, like you could have tested the market. And then, by the way, make sure you look up what he signed the year after when he went to Houston. He signed a gigantic deal with the Houston Rockets. And then when he went to Houston, he demanded a trade to the Lakers because when the Lakers got Phil Jackson and had Shaq and Kobe, he wanted to go to the Lakers. But, Phoenix wasn't going to trade Scotty to a division rival. So they sent him to Portland, which made sense. So it's like Scotty's made his money. But I'm not going to feel bad that he signed a bad deal, especially when the owner's like, that was a bad deal. You shouldn't have signed it to begin with. You probably should have saw the writing on the wall and tested your value. That's why I don't get mad anymore when players leave teams. You know, I don't believe in the whole loyalty talk anymore in the NBA. If you want to make your money, make your money. But if you want to go somewhere to win, go somewhere to win. You know, I don't believe in team loyalty anymore. I've seen how kind of scummy owners have been the last few years for all sports in general. I'm all about the players getting their money, most importantly, and going somewhere where they feel like they have the best chance to have a potential championship, you know, or MVP, All-Star, whatever, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, but like, this whole thing was like trying to present it as like Scotty was like held astray, you know, or it just like baffled or just screwed over. I didn't buy it. And then it brings us to Mrs. Pippin's tweet. I know you saw that one. What'd you think of that?
You know, I'm just gonna. A lot of people have been saying that you know, Scotty's been taking L's since like he's retired, and I'm probably in the minority here. I think he's a walking W, and let me tell you why. Pippin, dude, even like, she's like, at least I know she's like for sure like 50 years old, right? And I know that Drake, I think Drake like piped her. I'm pretty sure.
Who
There
has
was like a rumor. You know, Scottie Pippen. A lot of people have been saying that he's been taking, you know, a bunch of L's, you know, since he retired from, you know, the NBA. But honestly, I think that you know, Pippen's a walking W, and let me tell you why. Larsa Pippen, since you know she was young, and she's like 50 years old now, but she's still got it going on. Like I know you've seen those videos of her popping up on Twitter, on IG. Like that booty is firm, my boy. Like she got it going on for a 50-year-old. And
think of the children, man. Think of the children.
Exactly. That dude, like I would never have put all of that. Dude, she is beautiful. So beautiful, in fact, that Drake smashed. You know what I mean? Future smashed, and
I think all
pretty much like a whole album. Pretty much Future dedicated like a whole album to Scottie Pippen just because he smashed Larsa.
How is that a W then?
Well, that just shows like how bad Larsa is. Like that
does not equal a W. That means he got to her first, and then she went to the streets, and then everybody got a taste. That is not a walking W. That's him like keeping it low key, and then she got on Instagram, and then it was game over, and then Scotty ended up being Scotty doesn't know.
Yeah, but you know, I just think that you know, Larsa is like absolutely beautiful. You know, I also think we also didn't touch on this subject, but I just think it's funny that he got smacked by Oakley.
Dude, that was so disrespectful.
What do you mean?
Like he was getting manhandled. It wasn't just like a smack. Like Oakley was boy, but Oakley's a boy. I wouldn't want to fight Oakley either. That dude will whoop your ass. Somebody was saying on Twitter that they should Photoshop Future's face into Oakley's body. When he has Scotty by the collar, or like somebody Photoshop Future's face right there. That's why I don't think he's a walking dub, man. I love Scotty, but like, man, she belongs to the streets now, unfortunately, for him at least, and unfortunately for her kids.
So you're not into Larsa?
I think she obviously she looks good. I'm not gonna say she doesn't. But, like, man, she did that boy dirty. And, like, I feel for her kids. And then to be counting his money on Twitter the same night that everybody's slandering him, I'm kind of like, damn, man. Like, how many L's is Scotty going to take in, like, the last 5 years? Like, he went from being the humble sidekick, the humble Robin, to being a victim of Future's toxicity and just taking the biggest L that he could possibly. This is a 6-time NBA champion. And he's getting slandered by Future in 2020. That is, to me, man, legacy don't mean a shit because you could be the top dog of the game, and then years later, all we're remembering you from is that your wife got piped by Future, and probably all of OVO and Young Money and every other record label you can think of.
Yeah, I think I saw him with I think I saw her with Ben Simmons too. Like a few months ago. Like I'm not sure if
Ben was whooped on Kendall.
Yeah, her too. But then again, so was Kyle Kuzma. So
oh, well, don't get me into Kuzma, man. I saw Kuzma's tweet yesterday being like, "Man, if I played in this generation, I would be the best dressed." They're not the best dressed even now, man. You're probably the worst dressed in the NBA. Let's jump right into this next one, man. Oh, Tracy Mcgrady confirmed Oh, were you say something?
I was just saying that he's too busy making cringy TikToks.
Dude, he is such a social media influencer. It's not even funny, man. Tracy McGrady confirmed yesterday too that Scotty was almost traded to the Toronto Raptors for Tracy McGrady. Who would have won that trade? I think it would have been
I would just say just because based on a T-Mac's injury history, everybody knows Kobe said that he was probably that T-Mac was probably like better than him if it wasn't for his injuries. You know what I mean? Scotty, of course, going up north would have been pretty sick. Especially if he stayed up there, going with like Vince Carter.
dude.
That'd have
Scottie
been
Pippen and Vince Carter probably beat the Sixers in 2001, and we probably get that NBA Finals matchup of Shaq and Kobe versus Pippen and Carter.
Yeah. So I think that would have been badass. But I know you don't like player loyalty to a club. I kind of like it. I still believe it's a thing. It's just not a thing when like you like complain and bitch about it. Like I think the person that does it right is Damian Lillard. Like he signed a supermax, I think 6 years for like 350 million, 325 million, whatever.
That's
and even though like his team is completely ass, he doesn't like talk shit. You know what I mean? John Wall did the same exact thing. All he does is wants to get traded, talk shit, got an injury, whatever, on purpose because he was upset. And I kind of wish that like Shaq would have stayed with Penny. They could have won a chip eventually, probably. You know what I mean? But instead, he forced a trade to the Lakers. Imagine that duo
he didn't get traded
Shaq and Penny. You know what I mean?
He didn't get traded.
Did he get signed free agent?
He signed as a free agent.
Oh well, imagine if he believed in the Magic and wanted to stay. That would have been fucking amazing.
The Lakers offered more money. That's why. That's the only reason why he left Orlando. But like with Penny, you would have had the whole Tracy McGrady situation with Penny, because Penny would have got injured too and just kind of fell apart at some point as well. But I think from what I think Pippen to Toronto would have been insane. I think McGrady with Jordan in Chicago would have been insane, but like Jordan wasn't going to stay. Jordan was out because Phil was out. I think it's wild. For the first episode, I thought it was pretty crazy. I thought they kind of just my bad. I'm getting distracted by text messages. But I think it just would have been crazy to see that.
I was like, damn, bro, you keep looking at your phone.
My bad. No, it's because I get like bombarded with texts at the worst times, man. After I'm like busy. But anyways, let's get into Jordan Celtics. Him dropping to 63 after breaking his leg, and being like kind of the original load management. That was probably like one of the first instance of like load management with Michael when he first broke his leg and he came back and they said he could only play 7 minutes a quarter, which is wild. Him dropping 63 the day after he takes one of the Celtic players out to golf. Apparently that's something Michael used to do. He used to take a lot of players out to golf and then beat the hell out of them the next day on the court. He did it for Charles Barkley. He did it for John Starks. Do you think that's a savage move by Jordan?
Yeah, I think that's pretty savage. I'm not gonna lie to you. Savageness reminds me of Kobe savageness. Like Kobe, like memorized like how to speak Latvian or whatever, just so he can talk shit to Luka Doncic from the bench. You know what I mean? So he just to talk shit, like that's like a total like psychopath savage thing to do. Same as I think that MJ's doing, taking out players, inviting them like they're homies, and then just dropping 60 or eliminating from the playoffs. That's pretty savage.
Yeah, and I think that's why people love like the Michaels and the Kobe's and hate kind of more of the LeBrons, because LeBron is, I hate to use a wrestling term, but like LeBron's a baby face where it's like he has to be beloved at all times. And like he hooks everybody up and he's always dapping them and hugging other players and kind of just being that, like, not role model, but just being like the picture perfect. He's like the John Cena of the NBA, where it's like he's always the good guy. You know what I mean? Where Jordan and Kobe didn't care about that. They're gonna talk shit. They're gonna win as much as they can. I remember Kobe learned Spanish, dude, so he could talk shit to the Spanish national team during the Olympics and talk shit to Pau and Luis Scola and Jose Calderon, all those guys. Like that dude would learn languages. The other dude would take you out to golf, let you win, just so he could have a reason to beat you on the basketball court the next day. That is absolutely savage. All right, let's end this discussion on the documentary before we jump into a brand new segment that we're going to introduce. Is Steve Kerr the most overrated coach of all time?
No, I don't think so. I mean, like he beat the record with the Warriors team. You know, he beat.
You still there? All right. Apparently, we are having some technical difficulties here. We might have lost RNG for a second. I'm not sure if we're still recording. If we are, I do apologize for that. If he comes back right now, then we would have everything situated. But he's just frozen right now. I'm sorry, brother. We're just having technical difficulties right now, but we're heading towards the end of this podcast anyways. As he was saying, do I think Steve Kerr is the most overrated coach of all time? I'm sorry, I'm dying laughing because he's literally frozen on the other screen. He's just texting me right now to be like, what the F? My bad. I guess he's out. Just a situational thing. Maybe he can call back possibly. Let me see if I could invite him again. My bad, man. This hasn't happened before. Just a strange situation. Let me see if I can get him back. But if as we're saying, do I think Steve Kerr is the most overrated coach of all time? Yeah, I think he is. I think Steve Kerr is the most overrated coach of all time. I think that because hold on, my bad, my boys. I do think that because look, we saw Luke Walton coach the Golden State Warriors and do really well. And we also saw Mike Brown coach the Golden State Warriors in the absence of Steve Kerr and do really well. And I think at the end of the day, we saw that, you know, they didn't really need Steve Kerr. They just needed a competent head coach to put them in situations. I think Bob Myers of the Warriors, that's a guy that deserves a lot of credit. Same with Jerry West when he was working as a consultant of the organization. Jerry West continues to be the best in the game. Let me see if we can get RNG back on here. See if this is working now. You on? Hello, hello?
What the hell happened?
I don't know. You randomly got cut out for whatever reason. We're still recording, so I don't know what just happened right now. But you wanted to get back to you? I kind of took your point, and I kind of just said that I think Steve Kerr is the most overrated coach of all time because we saw Luke Walton successfully coach the Warriors, and then we also saw Mike Brown also successfully coach the Warriors. I think that dude was just in the right situation. I think a prime example of that is the Warriors from this year. You know, before Curry got hurt and Draymond got hurt, I know they were missing Clay, but they had D'Angelo Russell, and they looked like a two-pack of ass. And, like, all of a sudden, Steve Kerr, without a super stacked team, kind of looked like Steve Kerr of, you know, just whatever, you know what I mean? And before anybody says, well, any guy with a bad team is going to do bad. When Phil Jackson coached Kobe without Shaq and they had Smush Parker and Kwame Brown, the Lakers still made the playoffs with Phil Jackson. So that's why I don't believe in the Steve Kerr hype. But I'll let you take it away since you got cut off for whatever stupid reason. I think this Zoom is starting to fail.
Yeah, I mean, you actually just said why. You know, like they just had a successful run. I mean, they beat LeBron James, you know what I mean, in the playoffs, and that's I don't want to say it's unheard of, you know what I mean, because, you know, LeBron has lost before, but they beat a stacked LeBron James team. You know, Steve Kerr, yeah, he had a lot of resources available to him. Like he had, you know, of course, Jerry West. He had, you know,
Bob Myers.
You know, exactly, yeah. Of course, he had KD. But I don't think he's overrated. I definitely think that I don't think he's like amazing, but I don't think he's overrated by any stretch of the imagination.
I like that you brought up the LeBron thing, but here's the thing: when you bring up the Cavs and the teams they beat, when the Warriors won their first championship, they beat the Cleveland team without Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving. The second year with Kyrie and Kevin Love, LeBron won.
Because Draymond was out at the last game.
Yeah, but they still had Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and a stacked team.
You saying that Draymond wouldn't have made a difference?
Did Draymond not play Game 7?
One of the games he didn't play.
Yeah, but they went up 3-1. He missed one game out of those 4 games that they lost in a row. Because wait. Cleveland won 3 games in a row after going down 3-1. So he missed one of those games. 2 of those games he played in, and he played Game 7. And he had like 35 points in Game 7.
I think that Draymond would have made a difference. If they would have won that one game that they lost that he wasn't in, they could have changed like the whole story of LeBron's like legacy, in my opinion.
I think anybody could have been the coach of the Warriors. I really do. I think he could have thrown anybody. I think if Luke Walton would have stayed the coach, they would have won.
You think Jerry Sloan would have won?
If he had the Warriors, yeah, that would have been the first time he did
He's
one.
Late Jerry Sloan, by the way. I don't know if he's dead or not, but we haven't heard anything about my boy.
Let me check. You keep talking. Let me check if Jerry Sloan. I haven't heard it from him. That was like the first time I've seen him or heard about Jerry Sloan. Do you agree that Michael played against lesser competition?
I mean, he played honestly, I think that he definitely.
He's still alive, 78 years old.
God damn, that motherfucker's almost dead. He might as well be dead at this point. Rest in peace soon, my boy.
78, man.
Dude, that's ancient, bro. But definitely I think that he played with lesser competition, but they were definitely more physical. You know what I mean? So that's my opinion.
Do you think Michael would have survived in today's NBA? He had no 3-point shot.
If I can be 100% honest, I never really watched MJ's game. I just seen I just know that he's the GOAT because of the stats, his finals, or his awards. I've never actually sat down and watched his payoff runs. The only game I've actually ever watched from him is the flu game, where he just went off. That's the only game I've actually seen. But he drives, he creates a lot of contact. You know what I mean? He's a physical player. And today, when players, you can't even touch a player, or you can't even get in their zone of landing. I think he would it'd be a James Harden 2.0. Dude would just be gaining 60 points a game just based off of free throws because he's getting fouled all the time.
Yeah, it would have been interesting because he didn't really have a good 3-point shot. And that's everything about today's NBA game. I don't think he would be the greatest, like Kevin Durant said. I think he would have found a way. I think it would have been more no, I think it would have been more closer to Kawhi than people think.
He was a good defender.
Yeah, really underrated defender. I think his game would have translated more like Kawhi than anybody else. Like LeBron's game is more of a more bigger, better, more aggressive Michael Jordan. No, not Michael. Magic Johnson.
I was gonna say you could put into. I don't think he's like Jordan's game.
No, he's not like Jordan. No, he's more of a bigger Magic Johnson. You know what I mean? And I think Kawhi, in some instance, if Jordan was in this realm of play, I think it would have been more like that. Because mid-range, that's Kawhi's game. Attacking the basket, that's pretty much Kawhi's game. But there's a lot of resemblance there. Not fully, because I don't think Kawhi has that instinct yet, but or whoever will have. But I think there's a lot of similarities there when you see them play. It's just a fascinating talk. But yeah, so that was episode 1 and 2 review of The Last Dance, Michael Jordan, Chicago Bulls 97-98 documentary. Apparently they're going to be doing this every Sunday. I don't know if we're going to do a review for every episode. Maybe next Monday we'll do a quick, just kind of a footnote review for it. I don't want to make it seem like we're doing every single Michael Jordan Last Dance review. But let's get into this brand new segment that's being introduced by Orangey, the homie itself. Brother, take it away. The first segment of Hollywood Uncensored podcast.
So, basically, it's just to give people a backstory. I text you saying that I think I deserve like a small segment
You
in the
deserve what the fuck?
you know, or like I should get my own segment on the podcast where where it's just Edwin Uncensored for like a minute or whatever. Why are you laughing so much? Is it
Like
really?
I deserve it, man. It's like, damn, we've already done like 6 episodes.
Well,
You deserve something already.
You finally say yes. You always like say no to something I say, or you just like ignore it. So it's just like it's cool to finally that I get like my creativeness out there or whatever. But anyways, so I've had a few ideas I could do. A majority of them don't work unless we're like next to each other. So I might change this segment. But the one that I came up with this isn't one that I got off of anywhere. It actually just came off the top of my head. But I thought it would be kind of interesting to the kind of do like a quick like 60-second, 30-second type thing where like I find something that's interesting and just talk about it for a quick second, just give my 2 cents. And what I thought was, I don't know what I would call this. I started to think of a name, but basically, it's I would go on Twitter and I would see like what's like a trending topic, like a top trending topic, and I would just talk about it, just give like a quick thoughts on it, and ask for your feedback as well. 6 seconds or less, and that's it. That's basically the topic. And the topic that was trending actually today was something that we've actually talked about this before, but just coming from the person, I thought was interesting. So Charlemagne, I'm not exactly sure what he is, like a DJ, podcaster, radio host, whatever he is.
Radio host.
Yeah. So, he's on Breakfast Club. And him and Drake, I don't know if they have like a good relationship or a rocky relationship. It's weird, But basically, he says that Tootsie Slide he says it's whack, And I think that this is a rare W for Charlemagne, just because he usually takes L's. He has to give 6ix9ine, a blowjob because he got out of jail and he's backtracking on his word. So he's a mark right now, but I 100% agree. I think that song is whack, but it works. What are your thoughts?
Why is it whack though? Because it's number 1?
It's just a lame song. I just think that the song sucks. I'm not gonna lie to you.
That's what's wrong with the industry and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Honestly, man, he should talk shit about the people he works for, because he works for the radio companies that continue to play Tootsie Slide over and over and over again. Look, I'm a Drake stan. I have not listened to that song in a minute. It's cool. Am I gonna overplay it like I overplayed War or Chicago Freestyle or the plethora of other songs that have leaked on SoundCloud and stuff like that? Probably not. It's definitely the weakest song he's dropped in the last few months. But like you said, it did its job. Like, he knows what's going to stream. He knows what they're going to overplay. He knows what they're going to play at the clubs. They're not going to play Chicago Freestyle on the radio. We all know that. They're not going to play War on Power 106 or The Breakfast Club. Those are throwaway songs to them. The Tootsie Slide is a dance move, which is technically the moonwalk, that turned into Drake, just being like, this is the commercial successful song. And it's probably ass. And I think it's not, I don't think it's ass. I just don't think it's good. I think it's like one of his weaker, singles for sure. But it worked. At the end of the day, it worked. And that's not a Drake problem. That's a radio streaming problem, because that's the stuff that they promote. If they think it's whack, stop promoting it. And Charlemagne keeps talking about the damn song, so people are going to keep listening to the damn song, because at this point, Drake is at the point of his career where he's already proven now that he could literally drop anything, and it's going to make numbers no matter what. Each time it's going to chart. Charlemagne's always back and forth. I'll never forget Charlemagne for being a puppet during that Kanye interview a few years ago. So I've never been a Charlemagne fan. I think that dude talks a lot of shit on the airwaves, and then when he gets these exclusive interviews, he doesn't want to say all the shit he was saying, and he starts to play buddy with you. If you would keep it 100, I think that would make him an even better interviewer, because he'll go on and talk shit about Drake, and he'll go on and talk shit about Kanye, he'll go talk shit about somebody else, and then he gets them in the damn Breakfast Club studio, and he's all dapping him up, and he's all hyping him up, and man, I loved your new single. And then they leave, and he's like, man, that was whack. So it's like, Charlemagne, just pick a side. Be one person or be the other. Like, if Drake showed up and gave you those bottles he gave you last time when he ended Meek Mill, I'm pretty sure you'd be sitting there on that same radio station you're on saying how amazing Tootsie Slide is.
Did you see Bleacher Report's new post? MJ is donating proceeds from documentary. It could be to charity. Could be up to $4 million.
That's it.
That's a lot.
No, I mean, I'm not saying not from him. I'm saying the doc should be making more.
Yeah.
No, him, that's fine. Like, I hate people that when people donate money, they start counting it. Like, that's all you're giving. I wasn't trying to say it like that. My thing was like, the doc should be making more money than 4 mil. That doc should be making. It got 6 million viewers last night. It's going to be making some bank. You know how much like SmackDown and Raw and WWE only get 1 to 2 mil a week. This shit got 6 mil on a one-nighter on a Sunday when there's no sports. It's probably going to be in the 6 mil, 4 mil range all the way through. And this is supposed to last at least a month. So, I mean, good for Michael. Dude's got nothing but money. But yeah, so yeah, that was the Orange E Deserves It segment of the show. That's what we're going to call it. We're going to call it Deserves It. That's going to be it. That's going to be the name of it now. That was just funny, dog. I didn't think you were going to say that. That was just threw me out because I'm like, what the hell? All right, so is Michael Jordan the GOAT? Let's end it off of that.
You know, I think it's a very simple question. You know, like what's that old man's name? I know his name, but I can't think what. The guy that used to work, Stephen A. Smith, the old guy.
Skip Bayless.
Skip Bayless. You know, Skip Bayless always talks about it. You know, the GOAT.
Drip Bayless, like they were calling him on Twitter today.
Yeah, you know, Drip Bayless. You know, rare W's whenever he says that MJ's the GOAT, and you know, this time he got a W by saying he's the GOAT because he is.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, you can make an argument for anybody. I will say the one person that doesn't get enough GOAT talk is Kareem. I think Kareem deserves. If Kareem wasn't such an asshole to his fans. I'm not talking shit about Kareem. That's just facts. The dude's a dickwad when it comes to his fans. And he had more charisma. And this is the same guy that fought Bruce Lee and was an airplane. You would have got – he has this about as good a resume as Michael. 6 titles, multiple MVPs, and he scored the most points than any other basketball player ever. And he also had a college championship just like Michael. But just, you know, Kareem – the way he is, I think Kareem deserves a little bit more credit. Stop bringing up the Bill Russells and the Will Chamberlains. Yeah, they're legends, but I mean, they played against Melmans and you know, common people, common white boys that wanted to play basketball. I don't want to see Bill Simmons posting Celtic videos that looks like a Trump rally. You know, Shannon Brown would have dropped like 80 points on those Celtics teams if he was playing in that era. Like, he would have been idolized. Shannon Brown would have been the original Michael Jordan if he played against those Celtics teams. But at the end of the day, I do think Michael makes the most legitimate case. I think his legacy will live on better than everybody else. But anyways, boys, this has been episode number 16 of Hollywood Uncensored Podcast, The Last Dance, episode 1 and 2 review. This Thursday, not Friday, Thursday, we will be back with a brand new episode of Hollywood Uncensored as we do a review. A reaction/review to the NFL draft. I'm going to let you guys know now we're not doing the entire NFL draft because it literally takes an hour just to get through one pick, and I'm not trying to edit a 5-hour podcast. Hopefully we can get to the Raiders pick at 12, and then we'll just give you reactions of how everything is going down for the draft, and then we'll just see how that goes. Hopefully the technical difficulties were just a one-off. I mean, this is the first time we had issues with that. Usually it's been pretty spot on. But I'm pretty sure we'll be good for the next one. So we will see you Thursday instead of Friday. Yes, Thursday at Pro. We're not doing it live. So you'll see that Thursday night on the Hollywood channel. NFL Draft 2020. If the Raiders draft a quarterback, you're not going to want to miss my reaction because shit's gonna hit the fan if they draft Tua. Not that I hate Tua, but if you sign Mariota and Carr to millions and you draft Tua,
Burrows is better.
There's going to be some furniture being moved if the Raiders do that shit. I just want a wide receiver. I don't know why every year the Raiders have to do this for me. There's such an easy, simple pick, and then they're like, well, let's do this stupid idea. And they do it, and then I'm crying. And I don't even know why I'm a Raider fan still. But we will find out. And then do you have over here the Rams, Eagles, Cowboys, Raiders fan. He's got like 5 picks to worry about.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what happens. James Burrows is better though than Tua.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, that dude had probably the greatest college season of all time. I mean, that dude dominated. And then Tua, I know they say he's healthy, but I don't trust shit like that. I get scared whenever a guy has a serious injury like that. It's kind of hard. Look, man, I just want the Raiders to draft either CD Lamb, Jerry Jeudy, or Ruggs the third, and I'll be happy with either one of them. Honestly, they can pick any of those 3, and I'll be straight. I'll be good with it. If they do something stupid like draft a freaking an offensive tackle or some kicker that nobody heard about, then I'm not supporting them next year. So this Thursday is really going to determine if I'm still a Raider fan or not. And I'll enter free agency of my fanhood. My boys, this has been episode number 16 of Hollywood Uncensored. It is your boy Hollywood Holguin. Once again, I am joined by Orange E. Sign off, brother.
See ya. Good night, guys.